Hello, my freaky darlings. Welcome back. So, this week I'm getting to know and introducing you to Jane Toppan, nicknamed Jolly Jane. She was an American serial killer and known to have committed 12 murders in Massachusetts between 1895 and 1901. But she confessed to a total of 31 murders. The killings were carried out in Jane's capacity as a nurse, targeting patients and their family members. Jane also admitted to having committed the murders to satisfy a sexual fetish, and was quoted as saying that her ambition was to have killed more people, helpless people, than any other man or woman who ever lived. I shit you not. That was her life's ambition. Anyway, Jane was actually born as Honora Kelly on the 31st of March, 1854, in Boston, Massachusetts. Her parents were Irish immigrants. Her mother, Bridget Kelly, died of TB when she was very young. Her father, Peter Kelly, was a well-known, eccentric, and abusive alcoholic, and nicknamed by those who knew him as Kelly the Crack, as in crackpot. Apparently, he sewed his own eyelids closed while working as a tailor. Yeah, that's just a smidge crazy. Just a little bit. Anyway, in 1860, only a few years after his wife's death, Kelly surrendered his two youngest children, 8-year-old Delia Josephine and 6-year-old Honora, to the Boston Female Asylum, an orphanage for indigent female children, and never saw them again. Documents from the asylum note that Delia and Honora were rescued from a very miserable home. Yeah, no shit. No records exist of their experiences during their time in the asylum, but reportedly, Delia became a prostitute, while their older sister Nellie, who was not committed to the orphanage, was, however, committed to an insane asylum. In November 1862, less than 2 years after being abandoned by her father, Honora was placed in an indentured servant in the home of Mrs. Anne C. Toppan of Lowell, Massachusetts. Though never formally adopted by the Toppans, Honora took on the surname of her benefactors to distance herself from her former family, and eventually became known as Jane Toppan. The Toppan family already had a daughter, Elizabeth, and apparently they got on pretty well. In 1885, Jane began training to be a nurse at Cambridge Hospital. Unlike her early years, where she was described as brilliant and terrible, at the hospital she was well liked, bright, and friendly, evoking the nickname Jolly Jane. Once she became close with the patients, she picked her favorite ones, who were normally elderly and very sick. During her residency, Jane used her patients as guinea pigs in experiments with morphine and atropine. She altered their prescribed dosages to see what it did to their nervous systems. She also spent a lot of time alone with patients, making up fake charts, medicating them to drift in and out of consciousness, and even climbed into bed with them. Yeah, not a well child, like really. Yeah. So she was even recommended for the prestigious Massachusetts General Hospital in 1889. There, she claimed several more victims before being fired the following year. She briefly returned to Cambridge but was soon dismissed for administering opiates recklessly. She then began a career as a private nurse and flourished despite complaints of petty theft. Jane apparently really began her poisoning spree in 1895 by killing her landlord, Israel Dunham, and his wife. In 1899, she killed her foster sister, Elizabeth, with a dose of strychnine. So I guess they didn't get on that well after all. Not that that's a big surprise. Anyway, in 1901, Jane moved in with the elderly Alden Davies and his family in Catamount to take care of him after the death of his wife, Mattie, who Jane had murdered as well. Within weeks, she killed Alden, his sister Edna, and two of his daughters, Minnie and Genevieve. The surviving members of the Davis family ordered a toxicology exam on Minnie, which determined that she had been poisoned. Local authorities assigned a police detail to Jane to watch her. On October 29, 1901, she was arrested for murder. By 1902, she had confessed to 31 murders. According to an article in the Hosea State Chronicles, published shortly after the arrest report, it said that Jane would fondle her victims as they died and attempt to see their inner workings of their souls through their eyes. Under questioning, she stated she derived a sexual thrill from patients being near death and coming back to life and then dying again. Jane administered a drug mixture to the patients she chose as her victims, lay with them, and held them close as they died. Jane used poison for more than just murder, apparently poisoning her housekeeper just enough so that she appeared drunk in order to steal her job and kill the family. She even poisoned herself to evoke the sympathy of the men who courted her. Soon after the trial, one of William Randall Hearst's newspapers, the New York Journal, printed what was claimed to have been Jane's confession to her lawyer, stating that she had killed more than 31 people and that she wanted the jury to find her sane so she could eventually have a chance at being released. Jane insisted upon her own sanity in court, claiming that she could not be insane if she knew what she was doing and knew that it was wrong. But nevertheless, she was declared insane and committed. No shit was she insane. The chick was as nutty as a fucking fruitcake. Anyway, on June 23, 1902, in the Barnsdale County Courthouse, she was found not guilty by reason of insanity and committed for life in the Taunton Insane Hospital. She died there on August 17, 1938, at the age of 84. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this week. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it with people who are also fascinated by some weird shit like urban legends, conspiracy theories, serial killers, mythical creatures, ghosts, and other things that go bumping at night. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and if you find yourself in the hospital with a nurse who gets a tad too friendly under the sheets while playing with your mates, maybe scream for help or grab your IV bag and make a run for it. Anyway, bye.